Welcome to Fintech Uncut, the quiz show with candid commentary on the biggest fintech and financial services news of the week that was. Disclaimer: this show is created purely for entertainment purposes and contains segments of sarcasm, satire, parody, and humor. Even if you don't think any of it is funny, the creators do not accept any responsibility or liability for the accuracy of any content shared and reminded you to always fact-check everything yourself. And now, it's over to your quizmaster.
Hello everyone, welcome at Fintech Uncut, the quiz show with candid commentary on the week's biggest fintech and financial services stories with the wise guy, the other guy, and Judge Mary. My name is Rick Koekelbees, the host of the day, eager to know who will win this week's quiz. I'm gonna start with the first question, and I didn't prepare that question myself. I asked ChatGPT to write me a poem, and I left out 2 words, and I need those 2 words from you guys. So for XXX has a plan B. In case of Brexit or other calamity, they can switch to XXX and keep their bank validity. It's a clever move, you see, to hedge against uncertainty. But some may wonder if it's wise to trust a fintech in disguise. What were the 2 words you were missing in this poem?
I'm going to go early there. I think that the 2 words were Monzo and Chat GPT, because we spoke about Monzo last week, about Tom Blomfield taking up a partner position at Y Combinator. So I think Monzo has a plan B and can switch to Chat GPT to keep their banking validity. Because they need somebody to lead the vision, particularly after they've just reported that they've had to increase their provision for bad loans by 621%, from 14 million to 101 million pounds. So obviously they're needing, maybe ChatGPT can do a better job. No?
I'm not sure in that Rick finished by saying it's a fintech in disguise. So I'm wondering if it's therefore a bank that's trying to make itself look like a fintech, or maybe it could be Metro Bank, for example, who are heavily into crick tech, which is because they announced this week they are sponsoring the England and Wales cricket board for all the women's games, which you would have thought Starling would have been there to do that first, but no, it's Metro Bank. But is there such a thing as crick tech?
Maybe you've just coined a new industry there.
I mean, equally, I must emphasize that if I'd known this question was coming up, I'd have worn my other T-shirt, which says, that there is no planet B.
This is true. I think Earth doesn't have a plan B, huh? You were mentioning an article earlier this week about the group of scientists that say we've blown past 7 out of the 8 planetary boundaries required to maintain a safe operating space for civilization. Not that that's got anything to do with the answer. It was just in response to the plan B that Chris is talking about. But I think if we're talking about plan Bs, maybe it's Twitter has a plan B and can switch to Dogecoin, because we're talking about a fintech in disguise, and we know Twitter is trying to be a fintech. And, they need a plan B because allegedly it's only worth 30% of what Elon Musk originally paid for it. So
Not the best investment, then.
No. Do they need a plan B?
They need a plan C and D and E and F. But there was a very interesting article this week in Wired, which was about Revolut, who I'm blogging a lot about these days because they seem to bounce from pillar to post in frustration and not being able to get the license in the UK that they're looking for to open a bank. And it was titled Revolut Needs a Plan B. So I'm guessing it's Revolut.
So you would say the poem goes, Revolut has a plan B. In case of Brexit or other calamity, they can switch to Lithuania and keep their bank validity. It's a clever move, you see, to hedge against uncertainty, but some may wonder if it's wise to trust a fintech in disguise.
Is that another Chat GPT poem?
That's the same poem.
Oh, okay.
It's the same point from
Reinforcement.
ChatGPT. It did. I think ChatGPT did quite well, considering that it's frozen in time from when the inputs came there, to identify the fact that they can use their Lithuanian banking license to passport across the whole of Europe. But it will seriously damage their reputation if they can't get a banking license in the UK. It's just one of those things that always raises questions with everybody. Like, so why couldn't you get a UK banking license? Why, what's up there? So, I think that they do need a plan B.
Yeah, I mean, the issue they have is basically, they're known for not having a great culture. A lot of people leaving, particularly in the C-suite, including the CFO and chief risk officer. I'm sure things will settle down, but they just seem like a very mixed up company based on the way in which they approach the markets, and particularly the way in which they approach the regulators. And they've rubbed the Prudential Regulatory Authority and Financial Conduct Authority up the wrong way with some of their onboarding practices and other processes. So they're struggling.
And the thing is, I mean, you say things will get better, but maybe they won't if they don't change some of the fundamentals, because the things that happen today are no external factors playing. It's internal factors that are playing. It has to do with audits, it has to do with culture, it has to do with people, etc. So before things settle, I think they really need to reconsider some of their internal structures and DNA of a company.
Points. Chris jumped in first, so he gets an 8. Andrew, you get a 6. I think that was a perfect asterisk about the reputational hit it will take if that happens. And also props to you both for answering the wrong answers, but on the right theme. Progress, right, Rick?
Absolutely. Next question. A new trademark application this week made people nervous and also curious about its impact on financial services in the future. What am I talking about?
Okay, I'll answer this one because I think it's to do with what's been going on this program and my jacket, which we trademarked FU, Fintech Uncut. So it must be to do with our show.
I want one of those. I'm gonna have to buy one of those.
I'm definitely going to buy one of those ones. Maybe we should make it into an NFT. Oh, actually, talking about NFTs, Kellogg's just a couple of days ago filed a trademark, a whole raft of trademarks relating to the Metaverse and NFTs. And maybe this could spark a revival in NFTs and financial services. Maybe that's what it's about. Don't you want your cereal as an NFT?
Oh, yeah.
How the hell? What? But
The
anyway,
perfect diet.
yeah. Low calorie, that's for sure.
No, it's not the right answer.
Yeah.
Well, when you say trademark, I mean, maybe this is to do with the fact that Meta, which, obviously is Facebook, but Meta, the parent company, has just purchased a financial institution called Meta Financial. And they paid $60 million to acquire the trademark and the assets of the US regional bank to try and strengthen their own branding and marketing of the metaverse.
Wow.
I missed that story completely. That's an interesting one. Well done there.
You must
Well
have
done,
kept
but
that a
still
secret.
wrong. Still wrong.
Yeah.
Still wrong. Well, I don't know if they filed a trademark application around it, but did you see that HSBC launched a global ESG index this week that uses AI to measure the improvement of over 1,000 companies that are expected to benefit financially from improvement in ESG risk? So that would definitely have an impact on financial services in the future. Is that not something about it?
No, and I also doubt it will have a fundamental impact on financial services. If every financial institution start building their own measurements, where's the standardization and the belief?
Well, you didn't say fundamental, you just said impact on financial, and you said curious.
Ooh.
See, I'm picking up the quizmaster.
Bye-bye.
I must admit, the most interesting story for me this week, and again, I don't know if it's related, was that Hong Kong is opening itself up to cryptocurrencies, which the reason why that's interesting is China has spent so much time trying to crack down on any Bitcoin mining or cryptocurrency trading. And now suddenly Hong Kong, which it is now obviously part of China, wants to become the Asian cryptocurrency hub, opening up applications for licenses for trading platforms and exchanges. So I don't know if that's anything to do with trademarking, but it's certainly a really interesting movement that was unexpected.
Still the wrong answer.
Still the wrong. Well, I saw our good friend Paolo Sironi had actually had I wouldn't call it a rant, but he had posted a clarification on LinkedIn. And it was related to the story of JP Morgan Chase that has actually filed a trademark application for developing a service, ChatGPT-like kind of a service that uses artificial intelligence to be able to give people financial investment advice. And Paolo Sironi actually, his response to that news article uses the term FU.
All the time.
But it's not, yeah, it's not Fintech Uncut. He's referring to fundamental uncertainty. And he called into question the ability of any AI to actually make accurate predictions, taking fundamental uncertainty into account. And because Paolo is pretty much a blooming genius, he actually states mathematically why the AI investment advisors aren't going to be able to replace humans anytime in the near future, certainly not with any substantial sort of force. And one of the points that I had picked up in his ramblings there is I said, I'd also be worried about AI's propensity at the moment to hallucinate. Because the AI hallucinations is when the AI gives completely unfounded projections, and AI does that at the moment. So there's a lot of instability, risky thing that JP Morgan Chase is doing. Yeah.
Could you give a longer answer?
Yeah, well, it was a long rant that he had.
Oh, but is the right answer.
It is.
JP Morgan has a chat that helps you invest your cash. It tells you when to buy or sell and how to avoid a market crash. But sometimes it can be a bore to talk about stocks and bonds. So why not spice it up a bit and chat about your favorite songs? Or maybe you can share a joke or a funny story from your day, or ask it for some advice on how to make your boss pay. The chat is more than just a tool. It's also a friend in need. So don't be shy and say hello and let the chatbot take the lead.
Oh my God.
Is that another ChatGPT poem you've been ranting?
Can I tell you?
Far too much time.
Is every single question going to have a ChatGPT poem in it?
I have to tell you, none of us were ready for this poetry slam. Questionable poetry slam. All right, points. Andrew, you took the lead here. So 9, Chris 5, and one add-on. I know it's all of our buddy Theodora Lau has been finding that ChatGPT is taking credit for things people have written. So that's creepy. There's an attribution problem going on with our friends.
Uh-huh.
And Theo has a new book coming out all about the financial metaverse. Watch out for it later this year.
But wait, so I didn't get any point.
I mean, you got a whole nother business model that won't work. Fintech poetry slams, but that's what you got.
All right, next question. A bank came up with a not so creative rebranding this week. Which one will come with a new name in the week of June 12th?
I'm going to say that it's a bank that will call themselves We're Not a Bank. And so it's probably going to be one of the fintech challengers or neobanks. Maybe Revolut will change their name to Mongo.
I was going to say I thought that Goldman Sachs might be renaming themselves to Apple Financial because Apple's doing so well that is maybe I'm just starting a rumor there. You know, Goldman Sachs. Who cares about them? But Apple.
Or Apple sex.
Sacks of apples.
Oh no! I was thinking about a bag, but it's the wrong.
No.
It's the wrong translation.
No.
I was going to say, I think the ideal brand would be FC UK, but it's already taken. But they could try FU, which is how most traditional banks have treated their customers over the years, maybe.
There's a couple of banks that actually need to change their name. I mean, I don't know whether you guys are aware that Redneck Bank is an actual bank. It's the online banking division of All America Bank, established in Mustang, Oklahoma. Mary, you emphatically said, yeah, you know about them.
I'm very well aware of them because I'm like, what is this thing? I'm going to say some questionable marketing, but I will say one of my dear buddies who covers investment, Jim Royale, he got denied an account there. So that I wanted him to write about it, but he hasn't yet.
Didn't he eat roadkill or something like that? So he didn't make the eligibility.
He didn't make the cut. He didn't make the cut.
You've got to love some of the American banks. How about Tightwad Bank, which is in Missouri? Another real bank. Although maybe they shouldn't change their name because we all need to be tightwads these days, huh?
Well, I remember in the late 1990s, there was a bank that launched online called the Gay and Lesbian Bank, GL Bank. And I kind of think they were, before their time, because now that LGBTQ is so much on the agenda, then maybe that's something that will come back.
On the other hand, it's getting more and more mainstream, so they'll also be quite well served at the mainstream banks. Still the wrong answer, guys. Up.
Well, the only other one I can think of is HSBC, because they took over Silicon Valley Bank UK for £1 and already have marked a huge profit on that of millions of pounds. And I kind of thought they might call themselves HSVBC, but it's too much of a mouthful. So they've renamed Silicon Valley Bank UK HSBC Innovation Banking, which is kind of lame. It's not something that we're going to, jump forward to immediately and think that's the place to go as a startup or a fintech, particularly as HSBC Innovation Banking will be shortened to HSBC IB, which is their investment bank. Just go to the website, HSBC IB. So it's kind of really a bit of a dick move.
I'd love to know who the hell thought that was a good idea, who their marketing agency was or who their brand was, whoever came up. I mean, that's just come on, HSBC, you could have done better.
It's probably the result of a 30-page or 300-page analysis by McKinsey or Bain or any of those.
Or somebody just tapped into ChatGPT, what should we call our bank?
That's also possible.
Yeah, it's about as lame as the poems.
Yeah, it's a tired. Did we already say, because Rick, I noticed you bolded this, senior leadership to remain the same?
Yeah, we didn't talk about that, but it's true.
That's funny too.
Why is it funny?
Well, paired with the name, I mean, what's different then?
Yeah, true.
Well, they're getting into trouble because, the US side was acquired, but HSBC has been trying to poach many of their staff. And so there's a huge sort of friction going on between the two sides of the company right now. It'd be interesting to see how that resolves itself.
Drama in the banking land. All right, points. Chris, you took over this round 8. Andrew 5. Neck and neck.
All right, next question. It's going to be a tough one. So yesterday I came back from my bike trip and I had some time to waste. So I read The Economist. And in The Economist, there was an article on on Henry Kissinger's view on the world. And he spoke about something with a comparable potential to the invention of printing, which spread ideas that played a part in causing the devastating wars in the 16th and 17th century. What was he talking about related to, in a way, financial services and some of the stuff we spoke about in the past editions?
Donald Trump.
Fake news?
Mm,
Twitter? Social media in general?
could have been.
I think maybe it was a complete lack of common sense, because we were just talking about AI, and I read an article that a lawyer used ChatGPT to figure out his case that he was going to defend in court. And he presented the case complete with a whole lot of case references and precedents and the whole lot. And it turned out that all of those were bogus because of this problem of AI hallucinations. The AI had completely made up these fictitious cases, and the stupid lawyer hadn't even thought to double check. I mean, that is a complete lack of common sense. So if there's anything that's going to cause that kind of disruption across the world, it's the increasing absence of common sense in humans, particularly those ones using AIs.
Better call Saul next time.
Wait, I think I read the same article that you read, Rick, and Henry Kissinger, who is known by some as a warmonger because of all the stuff that went on in Cambodia, Vietnam, Pakistan, and Chile in the 70s, is celebrating his 100th birthday. And he believes that AI might be destroying us. And what's interesting is I've been blogging about this all week because I'm on an AI rant at the moment, or not a rant, but I chaired a dinner recently with a group of C-suite bankers talking about this very subject. And the conclusion was, have we invented the technology that to replace us and thrown humanity under a bus? But if you actually look at what the conclusions are, it's more likely that we'll find the reboot button, the restart button, the off button, and use it as a force for good in the same way as nuclear energy is a force for good, but nuclear bombs are not. And it's really down to how it's regulated. So during this week, the European Commission with US politicians sat down for the 4th time, trying to write down global regulations for the control and restriction of how we use artificial intelligence, which when you look at it, I always think it's there to automate the mundane and augment the human. It's not there to replace us. It's there to actually make our lives easier and better.
True.
On the topic of regulation, one of the things that an article that I really enjoyed was the fact that the Monetary Authority of Singapore is doing a collaboration at the moment exploring generative AI and Google Cloud. And I do agree that there's too many fearmongers out there at the moment, and not enough balance of the positive trajectories and arcs that you've just explained, Chris. And I think people like Monetary Authority of Singapore, where the regulator actually is right at the forefront, pushing the boundaries and experimenting themselves and figuring out what the regulation should be. They're on the front foot. I think that's really, I wish there were more regulators like the Monetary Authority of Singapore.
Yeah, and I mean, JP Morgan, we mentioned before, have been using AI for, well, almost 20 years or more in different forms, from neural networks through to where we are today. And I always remember there's a great headline from my friend Hugh Son, who's now with CNBC, but was with Bloomberg, with the headline, JP Morgan, this is 2017, JP Morgan uses AI to save 350,000 hours of legal time, which was time being used by lawyers to check words on contracts. And that's the equivalent of 1,500 lawyers. So it hasn't thrown humanity under a bus, but maybe it's thrown a few lawyers into the ocean. And that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, just as one other side note, not that I'm scrabbling here for points or anything, Mary, because I know that Chris has already slam dunked around. But there was, just talking about one of the potential negative cases, there was another story about it comes from the US Air Force, where they were running a simulation using AI enabled drones. And the drone in the simulation, this is a simulation, in the simulation, the drone killed the operator and destroyed the infrastructure that was managing it so that it could achieve its objective, because it predicted that the operator would try and turn it off. I mean, literally, this is like a sci-fi movie plot, and this is why they run these simulations in the first place. But if that had been real world, yeah.
I heard a much better story
Mm-hmm.
about a guy who started writing letters to his to his imaginary friends, and when he got older, he programmed his microwave with artificial intelligence, and he programmed all the letters. So he gave them all to the microwave in a way that he could start communicating with that microwave. And apparently the microwave at the end suggested him to put his head in the microwave, because it's a real story. I can find it back for you. But because
Real cliffhanger, Rick.
I was going to say, if you can't remember
you
this,
can cut that out. I'm gonna find the story
Madness,
first.
because it's madness.
now we're going to need to know what the better story was. So you're going to have to find that, and we're going to have to put it in the show notes, and all the audience will be left on a cliffhanger because none of us know the answer, and we're all going to have to go and read the article in the show notes now, because now I'm fascinated. Now that I thought that you were going to say, yeah, and it was a Netflix movie or something. But
Yeah, I
real
thought it was
story,
gonna be
this is
funny.
bizarre.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll give
so-
points while Rick looks. Chris did win with 9, but Andrew, I did like your add-on, so 6 for you.
Okay, Rick, you're going to have to move on. You can send them in the show notes.
Okay.
Don't tell us the end. Don't tell us the end of the story. Now we're going to have to give the listeners and watchers something to go and check in the show notes.
When your imaginary friends.
Okay, next question. What costs consumers more than £500,000 a week, according to Lloyd's Banking Group? It's not a bank.
Coffee, surely coffee.
Not more?
Well, I don't know. Nescafe says that over 95 million cups of coffee a day are drunk in the UK, so maybe it is a bit more. But not coffee.
No coffee.
Oh, damn.
I kind of think with the cost of living crisis and inflation, it's to do with food and drink. So it does relate to coffee, because in the UK right now, they're putting coffee on the shelves that are empty. You have to go to the security desk to get them unlocked so you can actually get a cup, a tin of coffee. But more than that, it's interesting that the UK inflation rate is just coming down from 10% to 8.2%. But there's a building society that's just launched a saving account for 9% interest. And I thought Apple offering 4.115 with Goldman Sachs was pretty amazing. 9% just shows how things have changed dramatically in a year.
Who was that? I want to move to them.
Saffron Building Society.
Okay, make a note of that for one day when I've got some money.
That's all put on my. But it's only available if you've been a customer for over a year.
Damn it.
It's not the right answer.
Oh,
I think
Wild thing.
I saw a story that was that came from somebody who might be a relative of yours, Chris. His name is Stuart Skinner, and he is the NatWest scam expert. Do you know that?
I didn't, but I would say that I grew up with 3 brothers. We are known as the 4 Skinners.
The 4 Skinners. So
Who was Lucky Luke?
the
Who was Lucky Luke?
I was trying to keep a straight face here. So NatWest have just compiled a celebrity scam super league table. Yeah, that's because so many people get scammed by fake celebrity endorsements like Peter Jones from Dragon's Den and things like that.
Or Skinners.
There we go.
Mind you, this is Lloyd's. It wasn't NatWest. So
No. That's why I'm just asking. Just mentioning that was a news article that I had seen, but it's one of your family members, maybe.
Well, it's interesting because you mentioned scams, and I know that Lloyd's did release something this week about online shopping scams, saying that there's something like more than 2/3 of all online shopping has affected UK customers when they go to Facebook and Instagram, and it's the wild west of fraud. And I know from my own experiences that whenever I see a Facebook advert for something that looks pretty cool, it normally turns out to be absolute trash. So never order anything from a Facebook advert. That's the key message.
One aside, my dad did get a really cool alien outfit from such a thing. So
why is your dad dressing up as an alien?
He retired and
it's just one of those things you do.
What retired American men do, dress up as an alien.
Yeah.
Interesting data point there.
What are the points?
Oh, we're already. I thought Andrew was going to swoop in there.
No, I was just saying that's an
okay.
interesting data point. Retired American men walking around in alien suits.
All right, extra point for that appreciation of my father. All right, points. Chris 7, Andrew 6. Chris is winning.
Oh,
It's gonna be a tough one. Ain't no mercy on the streets of this town. Ain't no bread from heavenly sky. No, not gonna try it. But
come back, Chrissy. Stop.
Bruce Springsteen has the song "Human Touch." Now, applying human touch prevented a disaster this week. What was it?
Okay, so I'll jump in. Is it that Bruce has opened Bank of the USA? And if you go in there, you can do banking in the dark. And baby, we were born to bank.
I like banking in the. I do that.
Mark drop, Chris. I might as well give up on this round. That was even. I'll give you those points. That was good. I was going to say it must be. Is this about some blooming LinkedIn guru posting about how to deal with the loneliness of remote working by going back to the office or some BS?
Nope.
I mean, he's the boss. So
It has to do with applying what he sings about in
Applying,
that song.
applying this human touch. Well, I did see an interesting story about Japanese people that have been signing up for classes by smile instructors so that they can learn how to smile again post-COVID, because they've been wearing masks for so long that they can't smile naturally anymore and they just look weird. So here they learn how
Only in
to
Japan.
convey happiness without looking weird. True story. I'll even link to it if you want me to.
I'm not even surprised.
Not the
That
right.
was the wrong answer.
That was human touch.
True.
I mean,
The wrong answer.
Human touch. There was a bank robbery in West California. I think it was the Bank of the West in California, which when a customer walked in, they realized that the guy at the front of the counter with the teller was attempting to rob the branch, and then to his surprise recognized the guy as one of his former neighbors. So he went up and started chatting with him and found out that the guy had lost all hope and didn't know how he's going to survive. And it ended up that he didn't rob the bank, and the two guys hugged outside with the human touch. So I'm guessing that's what you're getting at with the human touch.
Absolutely.
Ending on a positive note.
Yep.
Here's my question. What happens next to that would-be robber? Like, And how did that story get reported?
Well, nothing happened, I guess. They just called a journalist and asked to write an article about it.
Yeah, maybe he's going to be the CEO of the Bank of Hugs.
It's Chris.
Hugs Bank.
And on that note, you won the game. 9 points that round. Andrew, 5. Chris, winner.
Winner. Skinner the winner.
All right. Thank you all for listening or watching. I cannot wait for more international fintech news coming up soon. Make sure you watch our, you have a look on our website for that microwave horror story. And if you like our show, make sure to register for the newsletter. If you're a big fan, perhaps you can get a hoodie from Fintech Uncut, a shirt like Andrew's wearing, or
Not like
the
me.
nice
I'm wearing my own brand
jacket Chris is currently wearing, or perhaps a cup of coffee like this one. Don't forget to subscribe on whatever podcast channel you're on. This was the 25th episode already of Fintech Uncut, and we hope to entertain you, your colleagues, your friends, connections, and followers, cats, rabbits, dogs very soon again. Ciao.
Cheers.